Hi, my name is Jacques Chevalier, anthropologist at Carleton University, Ottawa. This video clip is about action research with a focus on doing it and practical tools to walk the talk, how to go beyond questionnaires, interviews, and focus groups. But first, a few words about tools and what they're supposed to do. In conventional science, tools of inquiry are small m methods. They are means towards ends. They are neutral instruments we simply use to collect and analyze data. Tools that seem to be just lying there ready to be used. On their own, they have no purpose or meaning. In the SAGE Handbook of Action Research, I and my colleagues Daniel Buckles and Michel Bourassa beg to differ. Our view is that the way we carry out research is as critical as the knowledge we seek. Methods are skillful means to understand the world and act on it. They are ways for researchers to walk their own talk. They allow us to interact mindfully with others and the world we live in. Methods matter. They need to be handled with great care and skill. We call this the path of skillful means, inspired by Buddhist philosophy. Over the last 12 years or so, with the support of the International Development Research Center here in Ottawa, we've worked closely with organizations and colleagues in more than 30 countries, developing novel ways of carrying out action research. Community members, professionals, university students, and faculty working with us took part in hundreds of action research projects meaningful to the people involved. Tools to walk the talk and their applications and theoretical foundations are summarized in our book entitled Participatory Action Research, Theory and Methods for Engaged Inquiry by Routledge, UK. Another book illustrating many of the tools and the overall approach is entitled Fighting Eviction by my colleague Daniel Buckles, published at Cambridge. The book shows what it means to do research with people rather than on people. It tells the story of the continuing exploitation of the Katkari people in modern-day India, their struggles to protect their land rights otherwise guaranteed by the Constitution. This is our website, Participatory Action Research in one word, .net. You can download practical guides from this site, guides in various languages available at no cost. Our handbook shows how to do participatory action research planning and evaluation using tools that go beyond the narrow set of methods commonly used in conventional research involving human subjects. All tools listed in the table of contents have been extensively tested around the world in settings ranging from agriculture, forestry, and fisheries to national park management, climate change, and Aboriginal tourism. By combining different tools, we've been able to develop full methodologies on topics such as disaster relief, accident prevention, moral distress in the health sector, and organizational change. We also have projects in education, gender equity, youth engagement, municipal planning, and the public sector in general. The tools we've created or adapted are organized into various modules. Modules 3, 4, and 5 offer tools to address what we consider to be three basic questions. What is the problem? Module 3. Who are the actors? Module 4. And what are the options for action? Module 5. Module 6 looks at problems, actors, and options from a systemic perspective, using more advanced tools. System dynamics focuses on interactions between elements. There are different applications of this tool to support systems thinking. For example, activity dynamics help describe how activities in a project interact with each other. The tool may be used to assess and increase synergy among activities and to reach project goals more effectively. Domain analysis is our group adaptation of personal construct psychology, a well-known theory developed in the 1950s by George Kelly. The method helps participants tap into local knowledge using a software called RepGrid. The software produces user-friendly statistics to uncover the ways in which people categorize and understand the elements of a system. Domain elements may be plant varieties, soil types, illnesses, expressions of violence or poverty, or people involved in a conflict, for example. Module 2 offers basic fact-finding and listening tools, including participatory free listing and pile sorting, rating and ranking techniques, tips on active listening as well. Module 1 is about tools and guidelines to design the overall inquiry process by mixing and balancing the right tools. The goal here is to create an action learning system that brings together rigorous inquiry, real dialogue, and flexible planning to examine situations that are marked by uncertainty and the competing interests and views of multiple actors. Order and chaos in Module 1 is a pivotal tool informed by chaos and complexity theory. It helps people choose between two kinds of planning. Either blueprints for research and action, where key factors are easy to predict or control, or working hypotheses developed in complex settings, plans to be tested against experience and circumstances that keep changing. The tools and the approach presented in the handbook show how to engage people and mobilize evidence in a complex world. They apply whether working with community members or people in suits. To be skillful, however, practitioners need to develop capacities not normally taught in the university environment. In the SAGE handbook, we discuss and illustrate the skills action research learners should develop and improve over time. Our experience suggests that 5 skills are needed to design and facilitate a process of engaged research that is both evidence-based and people-based. Skills to reconcile the ideals of both science and democracy in our own work. Mediating is a core skill that enables researchers to engage people, mobilize knowledge from different perspectives, and facilitate dialogue across social boundaries, cultural settings, and modes of learning. With engaged research, rules of ethical conduct are not necessarily based on principles of anonymity and informed consents. Rules meant to protect research subjects against those who treat them as their objects of study. What matters instead is that we seek meaningful agreement protocols between all the parties concerned. This means giving a voice to those who typically remain silent. Action research also requires that we learn how to ground the inquiry process by building inquiry and learning on felt needs and ongoing processes towards meaningful actions and decisions appropriate to people's goals and available resources. Let's face it, too many researchers ask themselves why people don't participate in their projects. The answer is simple. It's because researchers fail to ask themselves how they can ground their own research and participate in people's projects. Action researchers must also learn to navigate by designing and combining the forms of inquiry, planning, and participation that help people deal with complexity in a timely fashion. This involves creating and using methods other than observation, focus groups, questionnaires, and interviews, the 4 methods used in practically all research projects involving human subjects. Imagine if your family physician used only 4 tools: the thermometer, the scalpel, the reflex hammer, and the stethoscope. Would you consult another doctor? Scaling is another skill. It means having to adjust inquiry methods and actions to fit the depth of evidence, planning, and participation needed to achieve meaningful results. Scaling is what any good physician does when choosing between using a simple thermometer and a CT scan, which is a lot more complicated, but not complex. Complexity is having to choose the appropriate tool at the right time for the right reason. This means that ready-made formula to undertake research action, whether quick and easy or technically advanced, are ill-suited to coping with the world we live in. Sense-making is the last skill. It means co-creating meaning in complex situations by integrating information, quantitative and qualitative analysis, and also theoretical insights into stories and explanations that inspire and persuade. These are the 5 skills that higher learning institutions must recognize and reinforce if students and future researchers are to address the many challenges of our time. Thank you for your attention. We hope our website, books, and tools will inspire you to explore new ways of engaging people and mobilizing evidence towards a better world.